Hi, this is Greg Jameson. I run Web Stores Limited and a membership site called Web Stores University. Many of you see me here every week, and I bring in a new person each week to talk about some different aspect about internet marketing. Today, I'm very pleased to have Karen Newland with us. Karen, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and what they can expect today?
All right. I'm happy to be here. Thanks so much for asking me, Greg. I'm the owner of yourgotogals.com. We are an internet, I call us online marketing support specialists, but primarily we are helping business owners market themselves, services, products, etc., successfully on Facebook via Facebook marketing and Facebook advertising.
Awesome. Now, I know that a number of the people that are watching this are aware that in addition to creating e-commerce websites, I also do a number of Facebook ads for people, and that's one of the primary focuses that you work with as well. So just wanted to address the elephant in the room right up front. You know, why are two people that are doing similar types of things talking to each other? And I think that the primary thing here is that obviously we can certainly learn things from each other, as well as the fact that I think all of the people that are viewing this video hopefully are going to be able to have some great takeaways from today's conversation.
Absolutely. You know, there's so much to know about Facebook advertising, all of the nuances, and not to mention the fact that Facebook is addicted to change, you know, and so really working together as a village works best so that we can really keep each other informed and make, you know, we're stronger collectively than we are individually.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and start out talking right away about Facebook ads and kind of, you know, I think a lot of people, they have not really looked into Facebook advertising very seriously. What a number of people have done is just done some boosted posts, and they may or may not have had some great response from that. And I think frequently, because it's a boosted post, you don't get the same kind of results as what you do through a true Facebook ad. So people are just kind of like, this doesn't work, and I'm really tired of my Facebook feed being filled up with all these ads and so forth. Kind of share with us what you think is the basis as to why somebody really should be doing Facebook ads.
Well, Facebook is what I call the 800-pound gorilla. You know, it is when you look at advertising for small businesses, regardless of the type of business, whether it's a, you know, mom and pop shop, brick and mortar, or online marketing, you know, online type of business, Facebook gives the lowest cost per access to the largest potential audience per dollar available. So it is the place, if you're going to spend money on advertising, it's the one place that you definitely want to spend money on advertising. I'm sure you can do Google AdWords, but that relies on people actually coming in and searching for those words, or, you know, or they're doing a similar search and you happen to show up in their sidebar. But really, with Facebook advertising, it's more proactive. If the targeting is done correctly, you're showing up in the news feeds of people who potentially would be interested in your product, service, location, etc.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple things that you said there that are really key. One is that obviously it's the cheapest way to do it, but to me the most significant thing is the fact that you can really target people that you're trying to reach. You were talking about AdWords and how people have to search on things, and I think I saw a great quote from somebody about how, you know, those days are over. We no longer have to rely on people searching for the keywords that we're trying to compete with, but instead we can really focus on reaching the people that we want to reach. And the whole reason that's possible is because with 1.5 billion people using Facebook. Every one of them gives Facebook all this information about themselves all the time. Certainly they know how old you are, what sex you are, and where you live, but there's so much more than that. Every time you share an update status with Facebook, they know a little bit more about you. And the more they know about you, the more they're able to sell your demographic information to advertisers.
Well, that's correct. You know, and all of that, you know, we think of Facebook as a social marketing, social media marketing, or social media platform, and it is. But you know, probably the bigger secret that you just alluded to is that they are a data mining company. You know, they collect data especially from Americans and Canadians, but primarily Americans. In Europe, they're not able to collect as much data, as deep of data, because of privacy laws in Europe are much stronger than they are in the US. But even just using the information for targeting within the US, that can be applicable to other communities, to more of an international market as well. So, and the amount of targeting that you can do, how much you can fine tune it, is really significant. And, you know, since I do it all the time, I wish that there was even more. Sometimes you can fine tune to the point of being ineffective. So,
but as you said, you do lose privacy because of the fact that Facebook is aggregating all this data about people. And, you know, I think that that's an issue for some people. And the fact is that I know some people that don't want to get on Facebook at all because of the fact that they're aware of the fact that Facebook is mining your data and using it to target you. But the fact is I think that there is no privacy in the world anymore. I don't think the vast majority of us really have anything to hide. And quite honestly, if I am going to be advertised to, I would much rather see ads for things that I find interesting rather than seeing, you know, right now for me, seeing, for example, ads about baby clothes, you know, would have no meaning in my life.
Right.
So why would I want to be seeing that kind of an ad? Instead, things that do interest me, if those are the things that I'm seeing ads for, I'd rather see that. Some people think that's a little bit creepy because Big Brother's watching, but, you know, it's more effective for both consumers and advertisers.
I agree. You know, and Facebook is not the only company that's collecting this data. You know, you wrote a book about Amazon, you know, and every time I go onto Amazon and I do a search, you know, I see that item in my sidebar, in my Yahoo email, you know, when I'm looking, or, you know, when I'm on my Gmail, or if I'm on Facebook, I'm going to see that item, you know, for the next 30 to 60 days.
Yeah, certainly Amazon is one of the masters at data mining, and there's no question that they not only record everything that you ever look at on Amazon, they are utilizing a technology similar to the Facebook Pixel, which we can talk about here later. But basically, every site that you visit, Amazon knows what you're interested in, and they're going to target their ads to you as well. And as you said, Gmail, for those of you who think that Gmail is just this wonderful free service that Google provides to you, or even Google Chrome or any of these other free tools that Google gives you, the reason they're doing that is they want to get information about you. And even in your emails are not private if you're using Gmail. Google is scanning those emails for keywords and utilizing that as advertising data to portray new ads back to you.
Absolutely. And really, I think you hit on it earlier. If you're using, in this day and age, if you are accessing the internet, whether it's via your laptop or your mobile phone or your tablet or your desktop computer. If you're accessing the internet, your data is being collected.
Absolutely. So because of the fact that we have all this data being collected about us, we're able to turn around and market to people that, where we know exactly what they want. The old adage of, I know that 50% of my advertising is working, I just don't know which 50%. Well, the reality is you now know exactly what is working with your ads. And one of the things that I do when I put together an advertising campaign for people on Facebook is, and I'm sure you do something similar, is I run a whole bunch of tests. And I will test an ad, at least 3 different ads before I start putting a whole bunch of money into something. It's like, okay, which one of these is going to work the best? Because you have the capability of doing that.
Right. Well, and occasionally I won't do any testing because I've done this. I run Facebook ads day in and day out, 24/7 for clients all over the world. So occasionally, I'll put together an ad and I know that we're going to hit it out of the park with this ad, and we don't need to do a lot of testing. But if there's any question, if our initial results are coming back and it's not a clear yes, then we're gonna do some testing. We're gonna test images. We're gonna test ad copy. We're gonna test targeting, especially because I have a protocol that I use, a targeting research protocol, and that usually yields a pretty solid audience. But if I'm getting mixed results on an ad, I may have to drill down a little bit deeper and see where is the drop off, which one of those interests or audiences that we're targeting are not responding and which ones are, because you can really narrow in on your audience in that way. And there are a whole bunch of other targeting options to include additional limiters, so they have to like this page and they have to also like this page, or they also have to be a small business owner, for example.
Yeah.
And then you can also exclude people, people that like this or people that meet this criteria but do not meet this criteria, so you're excluding people. So you can really get in there and fine tune your audience. But, one of the things about split testing, Greg, is that sometimes you can't outguess people.
Absolutely. But the exclusion thing that you were talking about, I think, is actually something that can actually really benefit people. Because let's say that you are trying to target people in, lawn care. So what you want to do is you want to find people that are homeowners and that have yards and that are interested in lawn care and so forth. But you don't want to advertise to your competitors. So you can kind of say, so I want these people, but not someone who owns a competing business type thing.
Right, yes. So you can do that. And kind of to use your example, you could target people that own a home, but that it's a single family home as opposed to a condo.
Right.
You don't want to advertise to people who have condos because they don't have yards that they're taking care of.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier the Facebook Pixel, which is basically a way for you to do some retargeting types of advertising campaigns, so that if people have already visited your website, then you can advertise back to them. Can you explain that process at all for our viewers?
Well, so there's several different ways to do it. For most people, you want to put the Facebook base pixel on your website between the header tags so that you can then create custom audiences for any page that's on your website. And there's a multi-step process for doing that, but I'm giving you kind of the 30,000-foot view on this. So you might want to, if you put that base pixel on there, then if you have a contact us page, you may want to target people that have clicked over to the contact us page, and then you may want to target them with an ad that says, hey, if you contact us today, we'll give you 15% off. I'm just kind of making it up there, but it's it kind of goes back to the Amazon thing. Once you've looked at something, then they're gonna retarget you with ads on that item. So you can do that, or if you're running a special offer, you've got a registration for an event or something, you can retarget people then that visit those pages by creating custom audiences of people that have visited those pages. You can also create a custom audience of everyone who's visited your website for up to 180 days. So, and less, if you want a narrower. You can also then create, if you have something like an opt-in, for example, let's say you've got a free ebook that you're giving away, and it's what we call a lead magnet. So you don't want to, you could target, you could track people that are actually going to that page, and then you could create we'd want to create also a thank you page, and on that thank you page you'd want to put another snippet of code that's called a conversion or event piece of code. I don't know that they call it a data pixel, but it's a piece of code that goes in addition to the pixel. And so you can track multiple things there. You can track the conversions, the people that go to that page and actually end up on the thank you page, which means that they have opted in. You could also then create a custom audience where you retarget people who've gone to the opt-in page but did not make it to the thank you page, because those people were interested, but for whatever reason they didn't opt in. So you can retarget them with another ad, and that ad could be something as simple as, hey, we saw that you were interested in our ABC book, but we didn't see your name on the opt-in list, or on the list of people who signed up for it. Are you still interested? Here's another chance to get the free ebook.
Yeah, and for anybody that's on Facebook, obviously, and has also been to Amazon, you'll see that Amazon obviously does this retargeting where they are, whatever you were looking at on Amazon, they're going to advertise that back to you on Facebook. Now, Amazon is obviously the king of internet marketing and sales right now, but this technology that they're using, as you were just describing, is really available to anybody, very small shops now with very limited budgets, and you can get some phenomenal results by utilizing this technology now that we have available to us.
Right, and that's not available to the average small business owner. That's not available really anywhere else, not to this degree. And not without a huge expense. And you can do it so inexpensively with Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one of the things that I have found is working really well with Facebook ads is for people that have events. It seems like if you've got any kind of an event going on, that you can drive a lot of traffic to your event. People that have physical stores, a small mom and pop store, and they want to get traffic into the store, it seems like they have an event and create a Facebook ad to drive traffic to that event, and you can get all kinds of people to show up in your store. Are there any other kinds of ad scenarios that you see that are working really well in terms of once somebody sees your ad on Facebook, getting the conversion?
Yeah, right now, there, as you know, Greg, there are a lot of service providers and consultants on Facebook, and they're all trying to drive traffic to themselves. And one of the things that is really working is webinars and webinar ads. So webinars help to jump that gap between I don't know you to the what I call the Oprah effect. Where I've heard your voice. Maybe I've even seen you on video or on a live feed on a webinar, and so now I feel like I know you. So I've jumped that bridge of the know, like, and trust factor very quickly, as opposed to doing, just straightforward advertising. So driving people somewhere where they can actually have an experience of you is working very well for small business owners, regardless of the type of business that they have.
Yeah, and I can definitely see that. If we go back to the lawn care example that we had or whatever, if instead of just driving somebody to your website and getting them there and saying, hey, here's a 10% off coupon or whatever, people would be like, so what, I don't really know you. If instead you said, hey, here's a webinar about, how to take care of your lawn, how frequently you need to be fertilizing, whatever the information is, you're the expert. You share that information with people, and then at the end of your webinar, then you can say, by the way, I'm going to give you a 10 or 15% discount if you utilize my services.
Absolutely. If you imagine, some of the greenhouses around town right now, if they were talking about, we're going to do a free online class for how to make your flowers, drought resistant, or grow twice as many flowers this summer, or whatever, it is that would be, relevant to whatever product or service they want to be promoting. And then they get people on their free class, i.e. webinar, and now they know, like, and trust you. Boy, you've given them a whole lot of information, and you go, and for those of you that come in between now and Sunday evening and mention this webinar, or give this code, you're going to get 15 or 20% off. All of those people are, not only all of those people, but all of their friends who might also be interested in something similar are going to be coming in your store, to utilize that discount, and they've all gotten that information. And especially if you send out a replay, of your webinar, your free class, you can repurpose that replay. Now you could use that replay and actually create an ad that's driving people to that replay. So you may only have to do it live once, and then you can leverage that. So lots of different creative ways to really make that work more effectively for people.
I agree. So you've got people that are going from Facebook to your website, because Facebook, at least to me, that's one of the primary ways that you should be advertising on Facebook. They've got a whole bunch of different things that you can do, like get more likes on your page or whatever. And you and I both know that likes on a page really don't make that much difference anymore. So getting more likes on your page, why do you want to advertise to do that? You don't have to have hardly any likes on your page at all to be able to advertise now. And you can still get to these target markets. You no longer have to have a huge list to be able to email to, because you can access those people on Facebook. But once you get them, so if you have your primary criteria for your Facebook ad to say, I want to get people to my website, once you get them to your website, you have to have them take some kind of an action. We'll talk here about webinars as being one of those actions. What other kinds of landing pages do you see working well for people once people go from Facebook to someone's website?
Okay, well, I want to talk about that, and let me answer that in a second, but I want to step back half a step and talk about the much maligned Facebook page-like ads. There's a couple of reasons why I still recommend them in certain cases for people. One would be is if you have a page that has less than 1,000 likes on it. Really, there are so many pages on Facebook, I think that still having some kind of social proof is relevant. If I am choosing between, ABC Lawn Care and True Green Lawn Care, and ABC has 10 likes on their page, they have 10 fans, and True Green has 10,000, well, True Green sounds a little bit more substantial to me, a little bit more credible. So there is the social proof aspect of it. The other thing that unlocks at 1,000 likes, and it's let me be more specific, it's 1,000 US based targeted likes. So these are people who would actually be interested in your content, in your website, in your business. Then that unlocks some additional targeting information inside of the audience insights, not just the page insights, but the audience insights that can be valuable targeting information. So, and you can also, if you're building a community, if that's important to the success of your Facebook marketing efforts, if you're building a community, then there is still some impetus for doing some Facebook page likes. That being said, it's not the be-all, end-all. It's not as relevant because you are still going to have to advertise even to the people who've liked your page in order for most of your posts to be seen by them, just due to the Facebook algorithm. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, but I do see that people maybe are passing by some of the importance of the Facebook page likes. So I always want to, give the caveats on that. Now let's back up to the question that you asked me, which was, what other types of pages are relevant for advertising or offers that are relevant. Building your mailing list is still king in the online marketing world. Facebook is rented property. Your Facebook page could go away at any time. And Social Media Examiner had a problem with their Facebook page being taken down last year, about this time, I think it was. And, they had to go back and forth to get their page recovered. And they have, hundreds of thousands of likes. So, and people who follow them, they put out some great content. So this was a real problem for them. But they're building, that presence on rented property, because Facebook really can take away your page at any given time. But if you have people on your mailing list, that's yours. If something happens to your page, let's say if your Facebook account gets hacked and somebody absconds with your page, if you've got your mailing list, you can start to rebuild that much more quickly. Your mailing list also allows you to reach out at what I call at will. So it's more proactive way of marketing. So I really, anything that you can do to drive traffic to some kind of an opt-in, whether people are opting in for a webinar, an online class, or an ebook, or some kind of offer that you're giving, all of those things, work really well as long as you're targeting the right audience. Targeting is key here, but it also will help you to leverage your presence. One of the other things that really becomes valuable about running ads to an opt-in is that people that opt into this are obviously interested. They've said yes to whatever it is that you offered them. You can then take that list. You need to have about 150 names on it to really make it worth doing this next step. But you can take that list and upload it into Facebook as a custom audience, and then create what's known as a lookalike audience, which Facebook, takes all of they match up the emails to people that use those emails to log into Facebook. And then they go, okay, so this is all the data points that we've collected on these people. Now we're going to create a lookalike audience based on those data points. So these are similar people to people that opted into your list. Now you can market to those people to expand. It's a refining of your audience. And one of the keys that I found to be really valid for the lookalike audience is you still want to apply the same targeting parameters that you applied to the original cold audience when you collected those emails, those opt-ins to begin with, because that helps to further refine that lookalike audience. But if you do that, those audiences will convert at a pretty high rate. And so there are really a lot of tools that you can leverage with building a mailing list to make the Facebook advertising more effective. And then obviously when you have people on your mailing list, that becomes an extension of your Facebook advertising.
Yeah, and I agree with all that stuff that you said there, especially the part that Facebook is as great as it is a rented audience, and like you said, it can disappear on you, and pretty much for no reason at all. Facebook can just basically change its policies and say, you know, we're no longer allowing you to do this, whatever this is, and therefore your page goes away and your audience goes away, and then you've got to start over. And you need to be aware of that, that whatever you're doing on any platform, that the bottom line is you want to get people on your list, because that belongs to you, and that's what's going to allow you to move forward in the future. You don't want to, I believe it or not, I still see websites out there where people are not collecting email addresses, or even if they are collecting them, they aren't utilizing them. And it's like, hello, we live in the digital age. That's how people communicate now.
Right.
Either through email addresses or SMS text messages, one of the two.
Right. One of the things that I see, I think it's worth mentioning, that I see people do when they're driving traffic to their website, especially if they're driving it to some kind of offer or opt-in, is clutter. You know, when you drive somebody to an opt-in, let's say for an ebook, for example, when they arrive on that page, you don't want them to be distracted with a whole bunch of other things. So when you're spending money on an ad, when they arrive wherever you're sending them, you want there to be one action they can take. So it becomes a clear yes or no. But if they go to your page for your free ebook and they say, oh, and they've got all these other things, now they didn't opt in to for your ebook because they got distracted by this other bright, shiny object over here. So you want to, and I know there's a tendency you want to, throw the kitchen sink at them, well, I've got this, but I've also got this, 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 and this. Okay, well, great. Run ads for this, and this. But
Yeah.
Don't run an ad for your opt-in and then distract them, because if you give people too many choices, they make no choice.
Yeah, when I build an ad for somebody, I really like to create a specific landing page that goes with that specific ad. So someone responds to that ad, they're going to a targeted landing page that is just about that ad, and here's the action that I want you to take as a result of it.
I absolutely agree. One of a great way to do that for the average person is to use a tool like Lead Pages, where if you're on a WordPress website, you can actually embed the lead page into your website. So it's your domain name, / your offer, but you've actually created it somewhere else, and that's all that's on that page is that opt-in. And so, it's just one of the tools that you can use. You can, do it without that on your website if you're tech savvy, or have somebody else do it for you. But I agree with you. You've got to keep the distractions to a minimum on that.
Okay, let's shift gears here just a little bit while we've still got some time, and talk about, and you mentioned this before, about the audience. You were saying, when you have a page that has 1,000 likes, you get some audience insights. In general, there is a place on your Facebook page, and we're talking Facebook pages here now, not personal profiles, where you can see insights, and you can actually see all types of information about how people have responded to your posts in general, but also your advertising and what kind of results you get out of that. Are there any specific things that you look for on those insights and the managing of the ads to see how people are responding to things?
Yeah, and I actually don't look, inside of the page insights as much as I go into the ads manager and look at the ad results, the statistical ad results, and I'm looking for the click-through rate, on the ad. I'm looking for the click-through rate to the link on the ad, because that's key. That's what we wanted them to do, was to click on the ad, which has got the link embedded in it, and take them somewhere. So I want to see what that click-through rate is on that. I want to look at the conversion rate. I want to look at the cost per click or the cost per conversion, depending on the type of ad that I'm running. And then there are some breakdowns that you can also apply inside of the ads manager that will tell you, by age, by gender, by region, by ad placement, whether it was desktop, mobile, or Instagram, or wherever you've sent that traffic to. And by the way, I personally recommend only one placement per ad. And in this day and age, for most demographics, mobile is king. Mobile ads are going to outproduce pretty much everything else. So, but if you muddy your placements, if you have too many placements inside of one ad, then you don't have any control over how much traffic Facebook drives to each one of those placements. So if you really want to get clear results, you want to do one placement per ad set. But you can really drill down into, breaking down within Facebook itself, within the ads manager, you can drill down to a lot of great information. I do this all the time where we'll drill down and we'll go, okay, so men aren't responding, but women are. So let's, eliminate men from the targeting. Maybe, 25 to 34-year-olds are not responding. And we're seeing that the biggest demographic is 45 to 54-year-old women in California. That makes a whole big difference. Now I can target, only women 45 to 54 in California instead of targeting the whole United States. So you can really get a lot of great information.
And one of the things that I discuss as being one of Amazon's dirty little secrets is the fact that Amazon measures absolutely everything they do. And Facebook, again, has really given us as small businesses the ability to measure absolutely everything as it relates to your ad, and it can really help you moving forward. You see what's working and say, I'm going to tweak this, move forward with this. You might have thought that your target audience was men, but as you said, maybe it's women that are responding. Just because you have something that you're offering for men, it may be women that are buying it for men in their life or whatever, It
Right.
really gives you a clear picture that you never had before what Facebook is now offering to everybody.
Right. And the other thing that can happen is if you know how to read those ad stats, you can see which piece of your ad is working and which piece is not working. Because it's not just the Facebook ad, right? It's also your landing page that you're sending them to.
Absolutely.
And you can see that if you've got a great click-through rate on your link, so you've got a significant amount of people that are going to your page, your landing page, and your relevance score is anything 4 and above, preferably 5 and above. But as long as your relevance score on your ad is reasonably good, and then you've got no conversions coming in, well, that the ad was working. Because of the relevance score that the targeting was good for the ad, but now obviously the landing page isn't working. Or the other possibility is that there's a disconnect between the ad and the landing page. So, that's one of the things I'm always looking at when I'm setting up an ad is, when somebody clicks on this ad and they get to this landing page, are they going to go, yes, that's exactly what I expected to see? And if that's exactly what I expected to see, then your conversion rate should be good. But if you do a great job on the ad and you're driving people to a landing page that looks like caca, you're having your money. So, you really want to make sure that all of the pieces of your funnel, your advertising funnel, are set up. Another thing that can come up is for people who aren't familiar with the Facebook guidelines, advertising guidelines, they typically will get too much text on their image. And so they'll get their ad turned down because they've got too much text on their image. or they will use wording that is not Facebook compliant, especially if they're in the financial industry, the health and wellness industry. You know, there are some niches that Facebook really watches. Network marketing is another one, home-based businesses. You have to be very careful about how you word an ad, or it can get turned down. You get enough turned down ads and Facebook will yank your ad account, and now you have no way to advertise.
Yeah, and that's true even with just boosted posts. Facebook really frowns upon get-rich-quick scheme type thing. So if you have even any allusion to, you know, go here to make money, obviously, you're likely to get turned down by Facebook. And as you said, obviously the 20% text rule and so forth. And your ad is not just the image. You know, the image is a 1200 by 638 pixel image that you display on Facebook, and that can only have 20% text, but your ad also consists of the verbiage that goes down below that, the written part of the ad.
Right, right, and that's where the Facebook compliance for, you know, the what you can say and what you can't say, or how you can say it, comes into play. I do a lot of ads for people in the health and wellness niche because, you know, it would be the obvious thing to say, you know, come to my free webinar and learn how to lose weight, you know, or how you can lose weight. Well, Facebook is going to go, oh, no, you can't say that. You know, you could say, come to my free webinar and learn how I lost 50 pounds, because you're talking about yourself.
Right.
So when you start to identify somebody else, then Facebook can have a problem with that. And essentially, I wish I had copied it out. There's a clause in the Facebook advertising guidelines, and it's written very vaguely on purpose by Amazon. Excuse me, not by Amazon, by Facebook. But essentially it boils down to, you can't say anything that maybe might sort of kind of possibly make somebody feel badly about themselves or their life.
Yeah.
You know, you can't say, you know, do you want to get rid of, you know, your psoriasis, or, you know, whatever it is, because you're identifying somebody, you know, with something that they might feel badly about. So Facebook wants to be the Disneyland of the advertising world.
But you can target those people.
Yeah, you can target those people, but you have to be careful, you know, and you could talk about psoriasis, but you could say, you know, learn how you know, many people are finding, you know, natural solutions to psoriasis. So if you eliminate any version of the word you, and you talk about people as a whole, as a general population, as opposed to identifying a group of people. You know, like you could target ads to, you know, for example, you could target ads to Christians, you know, by targeting specific pages that they might like. But you couldn't say, are you a Christian? Facebook is not going to let you do that. They're not, you know, so you just have to be careful about how you do it, and thoughtful about how you do it. But it can be done.
Right. Okay, so as we wrap up here, is there any kind of final thoughts that you want to leave our viewers with in terms of what they should be thinking about with their business and their online advertising?
Yeah, I would say, you know, if you aren't doing any Facebook advertising, then you should at least consider it and explore that possibility. And I would recommend that you do it with somebody who is really familiar with Facebook advertising. A couple of reasons. One, so that you don't you don't inadvertently end up on Facebook's, you know, bad boy list because you did something that you didn't know you shouldn't do. So that somebody can kind of guide you through that process. It is possible to spend a lot of money on Facebook ads and get no results if you don't do it correctly. So, you know, I would say, is it easily accessible? Yes. But just because you can do it yourself, should you do it yourself, especially initially? Probably not. You may be okay on that, but most of the people that come to me for help with their Facebook ads have skinned their knees, and that's why now they're coming to me. It's because now they're interested in results. They understand the process, at least a little bit, but now they want results. So I would say definitely consider it, explore it, and with the help of somebody else, at least initially, so that you can actually get results and not just a lot of experience.
I agree. And it's not just the time that it takes to put the ad together and stuff, but the experience that someone like yourself or I have of doing this gets people better results than just the time it takes to actually put the thing together.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you sharing your thoughts with us today. Do you want to let people know how they can get a hold of you?
Yes, you can get a hold of me through my website or my Facebook page, www.yourgo2, it's the number 2, gals, GALS.com. There's a contact us page on there. You can schedule a time to talk with me through either my Facebook page or the website. And my Facebook page is facebook.com/yourgo2gals.
Great. Thanks, Karen. And if people want to get more information like this, see additional episodes where we talk about all things related to e-commerce and internet marketing, you can go to webstoresuniversity.com. And with that, we'll sign off for today. Thanks for being here, Karen.
Thanks for having me.